In today's video, I want to take you guys through yet another great PlayStation Store sale. Another week, another great sale. This one is the PlayStation Plus special sale, so you do have to be a PS Plus subscriber. But with your subscription, it's going to grant you some awesome deals on some great games, so I want to go through some of those. Also, we've been talking a lot about whether or not Overkill's The Walking Dead has been canceled on consoles. The game, in fact, has been canceled, and PC support is to be ended very soon. We've got an early indication of how Resident Evil 2 is doing commercially, and spoiler alert, it's doing very, very well. The new Samurai Shodown slashes onto PlayStation 4 this summer. It got a fresh new trailer, so I want to talk a little bit about that, and I want to round out the video by giving you guys some details about Ys 9, as that game got a lot of details coming out of the latest issue of Dengeki PlayStation Magazine. More on that at the end of this video. First up, let's take a look at the PlayStation Plus special sale. Yet another sale. You guys might initially look at this sale and see it as a smaller sale, but there are some hidden gems in this sale, and they're available for great prices. Specifically, I do see Death's Gambit 50% off for $9.99. That's a game that we talked about ahead of its release. Turned out pretty well. Its initial $19.99 price point may have been a little bit too high, but now at $9.99, I think it's a great buy. It's not perfect in all regards, but it's got a great art style, great presentation. It's a little bit of a challenging and hardcore 2D action platformer, but it's got rich RPG elements and an expansive world, and you can travel across varied locations, meet quirky characters from all walks of life, and uncover their narrative threads and secrets. A variety of different character classes and customization, incredible bosses, and that's really one of the standouts of the game. And of course, there's a heroic mode and new game plus, so a ton of longevity here as well. $9.99 for Death's Gambit, a solid buy there, considering it's a relatively recent release, coming back in August of last year. Also, the Just Cause games are discounted. Just Cause 3 XXL Edition is down to $8.99. That's 70% off, so that includes Just Cause 3 as well as all of the additional content, including Air, Land, and Sea Expansion Pass, Weaponized Vehicle Pack, Explosive Weapon Pack, Reaper Missile Mech, and another rifle. $9 for Just Cause 3 is quite good. That game had some issues at launch, and some of those issues still persist. However, if you just want a fun open world to get into, $9 for that is pretty great. Just Cause 4 is also on sale. It's 50% off for $29.99. Just Cause 4 more than anything seemed like a step backwards. Not to say that it's a bad game, but I wish they did a lot more with it. There's a lot of potential in this franchise, but Just Cause 4 didn't really realize that. Still, for $30, if you already played Just Cause 3 and you want more Just Cause 4 isn't a bad buy, especially at this price given how recent of a release it is. Also, I do see Prey the Digital Deluxe Edition and Prey Moon Crash discounted. The Digital Deluxe Edition is 50% off for $19.99, so that's not a bad buy. Moon Crash, on the other hand, is 50% off as well, and that's down to $9.99. Shenmue 1 and 2 is discounted 30%. You can get that for $21. Would say that's a pretty good buy, especially ahead of the release of Shenmue 3 later this year. Sky Hill is 40% off for $11.99. That's a pretty interesting game, and while it's not a steep discount, again, that's a very recent release, and it centers around World War III. It was one cruel tragedy, at least for the others. You seem to have a quite nice time hidden in your fancy penthouse at the Sky Hill Hotel, till the impact of a bioweapon blew away the life you once known. Now there are mutants everywhere, and they're eager to rip you to shreds with their vicious claws. There's roguelike RPG gameplay in an apocalyptic survival setting, and it feels fresh in every session. Randomly generated maps, and you gain experience, craft weapons, and look for useful objects. Again, Sky Hill for $11.99, a super recent release, so I would give that a recommendation as well. Elder Scrolls Online is 50% off for $9.99. That was a great game and made an amazing turnaround from its initial release, so check that out. I do also see a couple of the Tom Clancy games discounted. Ghost Recon Wildlands Standard Edition is available for $15, while The Division is available for $9.99, $10. Not a bad deal on either of those. Yakuza 6 is discounted 30% to $28. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is 40% off for $30, and then Zone of the Enders, the second runner Mars, is available for $14.99, $15. So those are just some of the deals available as a part of the PlayStation Plus special sale. A lot to digest there, a lot of underrated games on sale, but definitely give it a look for yourself. If you guys want a more in-depth rundown, let us know, and we'll definitely give you guys that. Moving on from that, there's been a lot of talk on what's going on with Overkill's The Walking Dead. If you pre-ordered the game on the PlayStation Store, you were refunded all your money, and PlayStation themselves said that the game was being canceled. The developers came back and said, no, the game is being postponed. Is it being canceled? Is it being postponed? Well, now it looks like the game is being canceled. In a statement from Skybound Entertainment today, the company announced that it had terminated its contract with Starbreeze Studios and will discontinue all efforts on Overkill's The Walking Dead. Given the circumstances, this means that the console versions of the game for PlayStation 4 have been effectively canceled, and that future support for the game's release on PC will be ended. According to Skybound, the company said that it, quote, did our best to work with Starbreeze and resolve many issues that we saw with the game, but added that, quote, ultimately Overkill's The Walking Dead did not meet our standards, nor is it the quality that we promised. So there you have it. There was was a lot of back and forth on what the status of this game was. Yes, Overkill's The Walking Dead had a very lukewarm reception on PC, but it's always unfortunate for a game to not even see the light of day, because you have to imagine from a development standpoint, the developers poured a lot of effort into it, they poured a lot of money into it, and they spent a lot of time hoping to put out a quality product, but unfortunately Overkill's The Walking Dead just didn't turn out all too well on PC, and now it's not even going to see a console release. Just think about it from a developer's vantage point. That's a pretty depressing thought. Hopefully Starbreeze can get back on track and they can find some support elsewhere with a new game. Also, Resident Evil 2 was one of the major game releases of the year. I think many would say that it was the best PS4 game of this year so far, and seemingly all indications were that it did very well from a commercial standpoint, but now Capcom has officially confirmed that Resident Evil 2 has shipped over 4 million copies worldwide since its debut at the end of last month, making yet another impressive milestone for the game. Resident Evil 2 from a critical reception has been received very, very well. I believe the game's at a 91 on Metacritic. Whenever a game has over a 90, it's doing very well. Just to give you guys an idea of how it's progressing, Resident Evil 2 was said to have shipped 3 million units within its first month of release, that being just in January. So it came out in late January. By the end of it, 3 million copies had been shipped, but now a couple weeks later, it has shipped another million copies, and that's very impressive. Obviously, the majority of the shipments come in right around the time the game's release, and then that'll start to peter off, but it's good to see that Resident Evil 2 has persisted a little bit, and I think by the end of it, this will be one of the most successful Capcom games of all time. And hopefully with how good Resident Evil 2 has done, that points for positive things with the franchise going forward. Whether it be remakes or it be brand new games in the future, Resident Evil is a franchise with a lot of steam right now, and we're seeing how well Resident Evil 2 is doing. Resident Evil 7 was received very well. I think the franchise is at its highest point than it has been in a very long time, and I would love to see a remake of Resident Evil 4. I know that's a more recent Resident Evil. That game is already available on the PS4 in its original form, but that's one of the more iconic games in the franchise, and I think gamers would be all over a Resident Evil 4 remake, or if they do a brand new Resident Evil game, just bring us Resident Evil with quality and gamers will be all over it, and it goes to show with the RE2 remake shipping over 4 million copies. Moving on from that, we've got a brand new trailer for Samurai Shodown, known as Samurai Spirits over in Japan, the continuation of this franchise from SNK. This is a fighting game that looks very slick in presentation, and it's shaping up very nicely, and now we have an official release window. It is to be released by the end of the summer, and it was confirmed that the game will have a global simultaneous launch, and it will be playable at PAX East 2019, so we're probably going to get more gameplay then, so that's very exciting. Again, Samurai Shodown will be coming to the PlayStation 4 by the end of the summer. And lastly, I do want to give you guys some details on Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. That's a game that I'm very excited for, given the quality of Ys 8, and given the fact that it just seems like JRPGs haven't been this popular in a very long time. This is coming from the latest issue of Dengeki PlayStation Magazine, but they show off a lot of images. There's one playable character that's a dual-wielding character, and you can see him fighting a swarm of bats. You also have a girl who has cat ears, and it was noted in the magazine tidbit that dungeons in the game will be made more three-dimensional than any of the past entries, with extreme height on some maps to give it more of an adventurous field while exploring the map. You also see the third playable character exploring the map in one of the images. What's very interesting is that series veteran Adol isn't imaged in any of these pictures, so what's his status? We know that that's going to be an element in the story, so I'm very excited to see how that pans out. For as long as we've known Ys, Adol has been an integral part of it, and I'm sure with Ys 9, Adol will be present in the story, and he'll be a big part of it, because they even made mention in the description of the game, where is Adol? That's directly a part of the game, but how that fleshes out, I'm very excited to see. Ys 9 still doesn't have a release date yet. I imagine that it'll be out before the end of 2019 in Japan. Whether that means we get it stateside by the end of 2019, I don't know about that, but I do foresee a 2020 release for Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. Very excited about that. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, the PlayStation Plus special sale is running right now. A lot of great deals available as a part of that. Do check it out, and if you guys want a more in-depth look, let us know. Overkill's The Walking Dead has officially been canceled. Skybound Entertainment has pulled away from funding that game. That's a little bit depressing, but hopefully Starbreeze can rebound. Resident Evil 2 has shipped over 4 million copies since its launch. Samurai Shodown will be hitting the PlayStation 4 before the end of summer, and those Ys 9 details, that game is shaping up pretty nicely. Ys in general is just a very consistent franchise, and I expect nothing less from Ys 9. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.